AMC stock down over 5% today. Crypto's getting hit pretty hard today. The overall stock market wasn't too much in the red, but all of the stocks that we watch and track seemed like they got hit pretty hard. Why? Clearly, we're just going to jump out and say it. You've got Ukraine, you've got Russia, and you've got interest rate and inflation scares that are out there. Now, this becomes very difficult to go against a market that is as uncertain as the current market is. Market conditions control investing conditions, and they trickle down into individual stocks. Clearly, AMC stock can still rise, and it can still buck the trend. But here's the deal that we need to keep in mind and remember. AMC investors, it's not 100% apes like some people think or claim out there. There are still so many people that are buying and selling and trading AMC, including 35% institutional ownership, and retail traders, not retail apes or retail holders, own AMC as well. So let's talk about the possibility of going against the overall market trend and what happens if the market continues to fall. So if all of this sounds like something you're interested in, let's get started. What's up, everybody? I'm Clay. I'm here to make 2022 the best year ever. If you haven't clicked that subscribe button, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Join us, become a bro. We are here every single day, and we are growing our portfolios together. Now, look, if you're brand new to investing, you don't know how or where to buy crypto and stocks, you can use the link in the description for Webull. Super simple to set up your account. $100 deposit gets you at least 3 free stocks, and then any $1 crypto trade gets you your choice $5 in free crypto. And then if you guys do want a crypto exclusive exchange, you've got Binance, Crypto.com, and Gemini down there as well, each with their own reward. It's so tough. It's so tough to see red day after red day after red day after red day after red day, and we've been seeing periods like that for the last 3 or 4 months now. It's been very difficult to watch AMC come down along with the overall market. But if you look at AMC on a longer term graph, since June, we've been hitting lower highs and lower lows. And it's very difficult for an investor to stomach this type of activity. You're still here. You wouldn't be watching this video if you didn't have an interest in AMC. You're still here because you still believe that AMC has the potential to do what everybody knows AMC has the potential to do, and that is rise at an exponential rate to an exponentially higher value than we are currently at. Why? Because the short shares are obligated. I know, we've been here saying that the short shares are obligated to cover for a year now, and guess what they haven't done? They haven't covered. And that's the most difficult part, because the short shares, they don't have to cover by a specific date. They don't have to cover if AMC goes to a specific price. They don't have to cover because Gary Gensler comes in and says, maybe you guys should cover. We're going to uncover some of these rocks here and see what you guys are really up to. They don't have to cover because some new rule comes out. They have to cover when the risk becomes so great that they choose to cover, or they have to cover when the lenders tell them, we want our money back. Simple as that. Those two things choose and dictate when the shorts cover. Now, a variety of things could send us over the top and increase the risk to a level that the short shares out there, or the hedge funds that are short, are willing to cover. And it's going to be very difficult for these margin calls to come in and for the lenders to say, yeah, we need our money back now. So to think that the hedge funds are on the edge of their seats, especially with a price around $17, $18 per share, is difficult to think. However, that does not mean this is FUD. That does not mean this is meant to scare you. That does not mean this is meant to cause any sort of uncertainty, okay? FUD is real. Fear is real. Uncertainty is real. And doubt is real. If you're doubting the short squeeze because the shorts haven't covered yet, I guess you're doubting the obligation that they have. And you shouldn't. You shouldn't. Here's the number one thing that we need to remember. This is a game of patience. And the hedge funds understand that with the entire world looking in on them right now, if they lose to a bunch of idiots that started a short squeeze, if they lose to a bunch of meme-talking kids, how does that look for the most sought after financial system in the entire world. How does that look for Wall Street if kids came in there and stole billions of dollars from them? They've got this presence now that they have to be right. And sure, maybe if they would have just conceded early on and everybody would have moved on, things would have been fine. But they are still out there, they are still shorting, and they still know that AMC can go to these prices. What do they have to do? They simply have to get you to sell. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that everybody's selling, but it's obvious when retail goes from an 80% ownership to less than 65% ownership, retail is selling. Now, we do not need 100% retail ownership. We do not need we don't even need majority ownership for retail. We simply need people to hold the stock. And I understand you guys are tired of holding. I get all of that out there. But here's why. The price that you reach, the price that AMC stock can go to, isn't determined by some institution that clicks a button. It isn't determined by some limit that Gary Gensler or the SEC provides. It isn't determined even by what the hedge funds are willing and wanting to pay. It is determined by supply and demand. And when you hold the stock, what do? You're restricting the supply. If you do not sell your AMC, and nobody, for that matter, sells their AMC, the supply is restricted. If they want to buy the shares back, which remember, they don't need to, okay? They don't need to at this point, so they don't have to want to buy them back. But once the volume starts to go low, and once the supply begins to be restricted, that increases risk, okay? It's called days to cover. And if a hedge funds know it's gonna take them 2, maybe 3 days to cover their short shares in AMC, that's no risk at all. That is not a risk at all. If it takes them 10, 20, 30, 50 days to cover their shares of AMC, that is a huge risk. That's a hole so deep that they've dug that it's going to take them 2 months to get out of. That's crazy to think. That doesn't happen. But that would be one of the larger risks that a hedge fund would be willing to cover their shares at, if not forced to cover their shares at. So knowing that, if the supply is restricted and the demand increases, they're forced to buy them back at that point. They have to offer you. Now, if you are willing to sell at that point and you sell your shares of AMC as soon as somebody makes an offer, that's how high the price goes. That's the supply and demand side of this AMC trade. If you do not diamond hand it, if you do not hold it, it only goes as high as people are willing to sell at. Now, as more and more shares come in, and as more and more people need to buy, and more hedge funds need to buy these shares to cover their shorts, they have to offer a higher price if they want it. If you still do not accept it, and somebody else does, well, those shares get eaten at that price. If nobody accepts it at that price, they have to offer higher. They have to offer higher. They have to offer higher prices. And once the demand for those short shares is met by the supply for those shares that they need to buy, that's how high AMC stock will go. And that is the short squeeze. Once the demand for those short shares are gone, the short squeeze is over. This isn't something that's going to be playing out for all of eternity. This isn't something that we have to be here day in and day out for the next 10 years to see accomplished. We simply need to wait until the shorts cover their shares. Some people believe that they're going to be forced to cover very soon because of new rules and regulations. Some people believe that as soon as the price goes to a certain level, they will be forced to cover, and then it's going to go even higher. So you could look at any different direction that you want to go. It all comes down to when they decide to or when they're forced to cover and how high people are willing to hold out to. I want to know what you guys think because I understand the sentiment in the community right now. I understand that red days are bad days and green days still seem like bad days and we don't go that high. I understand people are tired. Encourage the rest of us. Sometimes all it takes is one person with great words and great wisdom to come out and inspire the rest of us and refresh the rest of us. And that's what I'm asking you to do in the comments below. Guys, read the comments down there. See that people are still in this play and still willing to hold out for whatever it takes to see AMC stock squeeze. If this button right here is still red, make sure to click it, subscribe to the channel, join us, become a bro. We are here every single day, and we are growing our portfolios together. ClayBro883 on Twitter and Instagram. We will BinanceGeminiCrypto.com in the description below. And until the next time, hope that each and every one of you have an awesome day.